Hey everyone, and welcome! Ready to dive into something pretty amazing.
I know I am. Let's do it.
Today, it's elder care, but hold on, we're not talking about your grandma's bingo night. Well, not just bingo anyway.
We're going way beyond that. Think virtual reality AI companions.
You got it. And
Yep.
you're clearly as fascinated by this as we are, right?
Absolutely.
You sent us this super interesting article right from the Journal of Clinical Medicine, all about using VR to tackle loneliness in folks experiencing dementia. And let me tell you, it blew our minds. So what do you say we jump right in?
Let's go for it.
Perfect. Now, for anyone just tuning in, we're talking about a future where technology can help us connect with loved ones in ways we never thought possible. And it all starts with this idea of an AI companion, someone who's there to listen, to reminisce, and to combat that terrible feeling of isolation that so many seniors face.
That's right. And it's a really critical issue. I mean, the health implications of social isolation, especially for people with dementia, are incredibly serious. We're talking depression, more rapid cognitive decline. It affects their quality of life in such a profound way.
It's heartbreaking, really. And, even if we haven't personally experienced this with a loved one, chances are we know someone who has, which makes this conversation even more important. So let's talk about what's already being done. I mean, there are robotic pets, those companion dolls,
Yeah.
but they always seem to miss the mark, don't they?
They do, and it's not that those things are inherently bad. They can offer some comfort, some stimulation, but they just can't truly replace what's missing, real, meaningful human connection.
Exactly. And this article really highlights that. It's like we're almost giving up saying, here's this robotic substitute,
Yeah.
instead of finding ways to foster those genuine connections. So what's the missing piece? What makes these solutions fall short?
Well, I think the problem is that we often focus on treating the symptoms, like boredom, without really addressing the root cause. That lack of genuine two-way interaction. You can have a robotic pet, but it can't ask you about your day, can't reminisce about shared memories.
It's like trying to have a conversation with a wall.
Exactly. And that's why things like reminiscence therapy, even if it's just looking through old photos, can be so powerful. It taps into something deeper.
And that's where this whole idea of a VR companion comes in, right? Taking those powerful memories and bringing them to life in this immersive way. It's incredible. This team built a virtual companion, and get this, her name is Kiera.
Kiera, I love it.
Right. So before we unpack how this technology actually works, can you paint us a picture? How does VR create that feeling of actually being present with someone?
Well, it's not just about seeing a face on a screen. VR creates this amazing sense of presence, like you're actually in that virtual living room with Kiera.
Whoa, so it's not just hearing her voice, it's feeling like she's right there with you.
Precisely. And with the headset on, those sensory cues, they trick your brain into thinking, hey, I'm with another person. And that's where it starts to get really, really interesting.
Okay, so how do they even begin to design a companion like that? Where do you even start with something like that?
They actually developed her in 2 stages.
They started small and then got more complex.
Exactly. So in the first stage, Kira was kind of like a friendly, but maybe slightly robotic guide, leading you through these memories.
Okay, so like a digital reminiscence therapist, but still with some kinks to work out.
Yeah, so she had some pre-scripted questions, to get people talking about their past. And it was a good start for sure, but there were some hurdles they had to overcome. The researchers realized that this kind of limited conversation, it felt a little too one-sided, almost like an interview, which isn't really what you want in a companion.
You want it to feel more natural, more like a back and forth.
Exactly. And that's where stage 2 comes in because they brought in the big guns. GPT 3.5.
Okay, now you're talking my language. But for those of us who haven't, tumbled down the AI rabbit hole, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
What is GPT 3.5 in this context?
Think of it like this. It's like giving Kiera a massive brain upgrade, right? Like she went from having a flip phone to the latest smartphone.
Gotcha. So she's got way more processing power.
Exactly. She can suddenly have these much more natural, nuanced conversations. She can respond to so many different prompts and ask follow-up questions and even crack a joke or two.
Wow, so she's like gone from a chatbot to actually chatting.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
the best part is, it actually worked.
Really? People were connecting with this Kiera 2.0.
Oh, yeah. The article mentions some participants having these really deep, meaningful conversations with Kiera, talking about their families, their passions, even really personal stuff like experiences with loss and grief.
That's amazing and honestly a little bit mind-blowing,
It really is.
because it makes you think about the potential here, not just for loneliness, but as a new form of therapy, maybe.
You're right. There's so much potential there.
But with AI becoming so good at these simulations of real conversations, did anyone, forget that Kiera wasn't real?
That's the question the researchers were asking too, and there were a few instances where it seemed like participants did forget, which is fascinating, but also a little bit, it raises all these ethical questions about the line between technology that helps and technology that's maybe blurring reality a little too much.
Yeah, it's like we're walking this tightrope. And it makes you wonder, where does that line even exist? And who gets to decide where it is? And I remember the article mentions that Kiera was designed to look like a friendly young woman,
Yeah.
just to make people feel more comfortable.
Which makes sense.
It does, but it also makes these questions about blurring reality even more complex.
100%. It really does. And it's a debate that's only going to get bigger as this tech gets more and more advanced, right?
So where do we even go from those early trials? It feels like we're right on the edge of something huge here.
Right. It's pretty exciting stuff. And the researchers definitely seem optimistic. Like they're already working on these cool upgrades for Kiera.
What kind of upgrades are we talking about?
Well, imagine, instead of that virtual living room, you put on the headset and you're suddenly scrolling through a park.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right. And the sunlight's kind of dappling through the leaves, and Kiera's walking beside you, and you're sharing stories and laughing.
Whoa, that's next level immersive. So it's about more than just making Kiera smarter. It's about making the whole experience feel real.
Exactly. But it goes even deeper than that, right? Like, imagine if Kiera could actually pick up on those subtle cues from someone, like a change in their tone or their facial expressions.
Oh, wow. So if someone seems down, she could maybe steer the conversation toward happier memories or even, I don't know, suggest they talk to like a human caregiver if they need extra support.
You got it. She becomes this personalized companion, adapting to what each person needs in that moment.
Which, I mean, that just opens up so many possibilities. It makes you wonder, could this kind of technology go beyond just dementia care?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Anyone who struggles with social anxiety, people who are homebound because of disabilities, even connecting with loved ones who are far away.
Yeah, and not just as a replacement for actual interaction, but as a way to, I don't know, enhance those relationships that already exist.
Exactly. Like my parents live across the country. It'd be amazing to not just video chat with them, but to actually feel like we're taking a walk together or something.
Right. Sharing those experiences in a much richer way.
Exactly. But we got to be real. There are going to be some hurdles along the way. I mean, the article even mentioned it, those bulky VR headsets, the cost. Those are real barriers for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially for seniors who might not be as tech savvy. We need those headsets to be comfortable and affordable and easy to use.
100%. Accessibility is key if we want this tech to actually help people.
For sure. And of course, more research is always a good thing. I mean, what are the long-term effects of this kind of interaction?
Such a good point. We're talking about
Oh,
some pretty deep stuff here.
we are.
Yeah.
It all comes back to those bigger questions we were discussing about connection, doesn't it? What does it even mean to truly connect with someone, and how will AI change that in the future?
It's a brave new world out there, that's for sure.
It really is. But it's also a world full of incredible possibilities.
Mm.
And that's what's so exciting. We're talking about using technology to address this fundamental human need,
Mm.
the need to connect.
I love that. And if we can do that in a way that's ethical and responsible, well, it's a future worth exploring.
100%.
Mm.
And on that note, we'll leave you to ponder these mind-blowing possibilities. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the future of connection. We'll see you next time.